presentation, and I wish I could just sit here all day or again tomorrow just listening. But thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, so thank you, Mum. I asked Rebecca Farr, her upline, to tell me a little bit about Abby. And Rebecca said she is the true leader of leaders who knows her team, knows their family, knows their goals and dreams and skills. She is all in and leads by doing. She's a huge dreamer and at the same time is the best mum. Who makes her family her top priority. She's hugely competitive, and Rebecca Fair said, ha ha ha. She's a 5-year team elite, been Platinum Star Circle of Excellence to earner, went to Malawi last year for the Nourish Your Children trip, and 2020 Entrepreneur of the Year award. Everyone, stand up. Let's give a massive,
I never said I was the smartest in the room, so I might need that, I'm so sorry. But what an intro, thank you guys. The energy this afternoon has been insane, right? Yeah. You guys, Mary and Tui are the perfect shot of energy and adrenaline, and this panel was amazing. I can't say it enough. I am honored to be in this room. And this afternoon, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and it's creating leaders that multiply. And the first thing that we're going to go into is the culture. And this might surprise you, but culture is everything to me, and my team is everything to me. If you want to create a business that is going to multiply in leadership, then you have to create a culture where people want to stay. And probably thinking, Abby, that's really ironic because you just told us you had 10 team elites leave your team. That's a little joke, you guys can laugh. Dark humor, but it's true. If you create a place people want to stay, yes, people will still leave, but there will be people who stay because they love what you've created and they feel important. They feel seen and valued and empowered, and they feel like they've been given the permission to own the area that they're in and their expertise, and that is what I am all about. Culture isn't what you say, it's what you reward. It's also what you tolerate, what you celebrate. And so how do you create culture? And my team, I want to create a culture where you are seen, you are known, you are valued, you are empowered. And I'm going to pass off the reins to you because I trust you, and I'm building people and bringing people in to surround me who are better than me, stronger than me, and smarter, way smarter than me. And so I'm going to empower them to be who they are in their lane. So we're going to be clear on that value. We're going to repeat language constantly. If you want someone to remember something and really own and be a part of something, you've got to repeat it. And one of the sayings on our team is clarity is kindness, which goes back into be clear on your values, be clear in your exchange with people. Whenever we have to get on a phone call and talk about why is your business not where you want it to be, or what can we do as leaders to move forward through this hard situation. We've been tested in that a lot this year, so we've got a lot of practice. And it's clarity, knowing that they deserve the truth and the clarity to get to their goal. And you model from the top. And I've had the best example in my upline, Rebecca, that she is in the trenches. And that's what I've learned is I'm going to stay in the trenches, and I'm never going to ask my team to do something that I'm not willing in doing myself, right? How can we expect and preach and talk to someone and tell them what to do, but we haven't done it, or there is no action for them to follow? So we as leaders lead from the top, we lead from the front, and we protect this culture aggressively. And I love that word aggressively. Because if your culture matters, if your people matter, then you're not gonna let anything into that, anything penetrate what you don't want to be a seed of the culture in your team. And we celebrate huge. Edification, celebration is so massive in my organization because so many of us come from thankless jobs, right? So we work all day, we give everything we have to our job. I worked in a hospital, I was a nurse technician, and I had a job that was very, very thankless. And when I came to Nu Skin, I couldn't believe the way I was celebrated, the way I was honored, when I felt like I didn't deserve it. And these people are empowering me and loving me and celebrating what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm just doing my job. But whenever you come a place where I had a president at my past company that I was at as a customer service rep, he literally ran into me in the hallway. And he looked at me just with a little bit of a disgust and kept walking. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry, like that was the president. And then we have Justin Kiesel, who knows my kids' names, who asks about my family, and if I text him, he's gonna text back. Do you think I'm gonna stay at the job where the president ran into me and treated me like, who are you and why are you here? Or am I gonna stay where someone knows my name, knows my kids' names? That's where I'm staying, right? That's where I'm planting. And this is my favorite thing in the world. It's people over position. And I've taken this picture. It is a major throwback. I think I was pregnant in this picture. I feel like most of my time at Nu Skin I've been pregnant. But to the left is my college soccer best friend. We played Division I soccer together. Her name's Megan Proudfoot. And then it goes my mom, myself, and then my college best friend, Michelle. These were the first 3 people I recruited into my business, and they were my 2 Team Elite lines and 1 Blue Diamond line with 2 Team Elites under her. The first 3 people I invited in. And they are everything. And the people that they've brought in are everything to me. And it is the person over what they do. It's the person over the performance. It's the person over the position. Because just a number, it's not just a title. This is a person with a family behind them, with dreams and visions, with things that are going on in their life. And if you don't get to know your people, then how can you help them? And so if you can't see them as a person first, then you're never gonna build a culture of transparency, trust. And your leaders won't trust you to lead them if they're like, she doesn't even know me. And so I want to go into stories. I didn't have time to share everyone's story, but I really wanted to share Michelle and my mom's because I think they're very, very relatable. So this is my mom, Ginger Sussman. She is one of my Team Elites. She was the first person that I asked into this business. And you've got to understand the setting. My mom came to the business. She had not worked in 40 years. She was not looking to work, and definitely not on social media because she did not know how to work social media. She hardly knew how to work her cell phone. And I came to her, and I told you guys I was a major skeptic when I started this business, but I was desperate. And I was very ignorant. I didn't know how the business worked. And so I thought if I signed someone up, I was gonna make money, and I was gonna be rich. And I told you, I was paying with pennies at McDonald's value menu. So I needed to recruit fast in my mind. So I came to my mom, I said, Mom, you've got to join me in this business. She was like, you're crazy. I am not joining you. I was like, you can't tell me no. She's like, no, I'm telling you no right now. I'm like, Mom, I'm broke. You're my mom. You're supposed to do anything for me. And you know what? She loved me enough that she said yes. And we made her a face, and all she wanted to post were her Bible verses and politics. Those are 2 very polarizing things. And so we had to teach her how to post about other things. We had to teach her how to post a picture. And my mom joined, and you know what? I'm gonna be the worst person in this room at math. So she's 71 this month. And so she started 9.5 years ago. You do the math. She started a social media business in 12 months. This was in the old comp plan. She said, I'm gonna be 12 wide in 12 months. I'm gonna hit Blue Diamond, and she did it. And she did it a month before I did. She is incredible. And so I want to share her story as a 5-year Team Elite, 4-star Platinum, Nourish the Children Ambassador, Malawi trip participant, COE 1, as someone who didn't need a job, hadn't worked in 40 years, didn't know how to work social media, and now she's in prison. She is, and again, not in prison, neither of us are there. I made that mistake earlier, but she is scanning in person. She's going to doctor's offices. Her doctor scheduled an appointment with her after seeing her blood work, and at 71 years old, she's gaining muscle. And he said, I've never seen anyone like you. I need to know what you're taking, because I need all of my patients doing whatever you're doing. And she's building this business, and it is incredible to watch. And so for her, I just want anyone in this room who's saying, I can't do it, my time is past, I've aged out, I'm too old to dream, I don't need a job, or if you're recruiting someone and you're counting them out because of any of these things, let my mom be testimony that you are never too old to dream. I feel like she is just in her prime. If you look at her, and you know what, Mary, she tells everyone we're sisters too. And honestly, when you see us in person, you probably might think that. I take offense to that. I'm only 35, but she's a product of the product, and she is one of the most inspiring people I know. She's one of the hardest workers I've ever met, and the way that she builds culture and the way that she builds people is what drives me to do the same. So then there's Michelle. So Michelle is my college best friend. I went to a small town, East Texas, Nacogdoches, try and spell that, and I met Michelle. She was one of my first customers. Michelle is as introverted as I am loud, and we are complete opposites. She bought the toothpaste from me, and I said, Michelle, you have got to do this with me. And she said, no. Are you seeing a theme here? Everyone I ask into my business, they tell me no, but I convince them somehow. Because Megan also told me no. And then my 4th leadership leg that I built at the very beginning of my business, she told me no for 3 years, but I'm persistent, if anything else. And so Michelle told me, no, I'm not doing this business. I don't want to be online. But she was a boutique owner who worked every holiday. Her husband worked on the railroad. He was gone 3 weeks out of the month, every month. They wanted to start a family, but how are they going to start a family when he's gone 3 weeks out of every month? How is she going to be at home with kids if she's working every holiday? That's not the life she had envisioned. So her husband, Justin, which we love, Justin and Michelle Kiesel and Justin and Michelle Woodard, but Justin said, you need to do this with Abby. And she told Justin, no. But persistency is key. No means not right now. And it was week 2 in my business when Michelle joined, and she would hit to Blue Diamond in that 13-month span. Ginger, Michelle, and I ran together, arm in arm. And this was a part of the multiplication that happened because we were 6 levels deep on Ginger's line of Team Elites. We were 6 levels deep on Michelle's line of Team Elites. And those is just one line of theirs. And it was because hand in hand, we grew together. There was no competition. There was a culture of empowerment, of transparency, of love, and we just went arm in arm and built. So Michelle went from being a boutique manager who worked every holiday with a husband who was out of town 3 weeks out of every single month, to a 5-star Team Elite Platinum, 23-time trip earner, Circle of Excellence 1, living in her small town, the most introverted person you know. She doesn't want to speak to you in person, but she is powerful. And her leadership is loud because of how quiet it is. There is strength in quietness. And if you're sitting here and you're wondering, can I do this business? I don't want to be on stage. I am not the one who has the Energizer Bunny energy. Yes, you can, and you are powerful exactly how you are. And what's so unique for all of us as leaders is what makes us powerful is us. it's your connection, because some people will only be able to connect with you because of exactly who you are. And they could never connect with me or someone else in this room because they need you. So remember that. You are your superpower. Don't dim your light. Don't become someone that you're not to try and fit a mold that you believe you have to be. You just be you. So now, when duplication happens, when you create owners, not followers. And I think this took me a while. I think that when I was young, I knew I was a leader. I'm very stubborn, I'm very competitive, and I love to empower people. And my mom and my dad might say that I was bossy when I was younger. I didn't believe them until I had 2 daughters of my own. And now they're 6 and 3, and they're the bosses of our house. But what I've learned is I don't want to create followers. I don't want to create people who will listen to me. I want to create people who will own our culture, own what we have, own their own strengths. And this is the biggest key in the duplication of leadership. We create a culture of edification and celebration. So anytime I get to edify my leaders, that is the number one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to go into their text chats, their WhatsApp, whatever, their Facebook Messenger groups, and I'm going to go to their team and I'm going to shout them out for their leadership, for doing the actions, for being in the trenches, for being on the leaderboard, for hitting 4K first, for hitting their 2500 DCSB. I'm going to shout them out quickly. And when we're in leadership chats with people that they're bringing up in leadership, I'm going to let them lead. Maybe I have the answer and they don't know the answer, but I'm going to go into the text and I'm going to tell them the answer so that they can be promoted as the leader, because their leaders need to be able to trust them and see them as a leader. The next thing is development. We have to develop the whole person, and we learned this a little later than I wish. And we've learned this lesson. When someone comes in here, you can catapult for that position. And so book studies, the 21st century, book of the 21st business of the 21st century, 5 levels of leadership. Their podcast, we love Craig Rochelle. He has a leadership podcast. It's one of the best in the world. I'd put it up to anything. He's actually a pastor, but he is world renowned on his leadership. And so I'm sending these podcasts. I'm doing these book studies with my girls. I am asking them deep questions. The quality of the answers that you get from your team rise and fall on the quality of questions that you're asking. If you don't ask something, you might not know the answer. And how do you fix something that you don't even know needs fixed? And so us as leaders, we've got to get to know these people. What are they facing? Because we all come in with some type of limiting belief or some type of baggage, something that happened, and it rears its ugly head in this industry. Does anyone else agree? It's like, I didn't even know I struggled with something until I came into this position and I had to face it head on, break it down to build myself up to be the leader that my team deserves. And I've got to do that with my leaders so that they realize their worth and their value. So there's nothing limiting them on their level of success. And then it comes to systems. You have to have systems. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And so you need clear systems that are simple, duplicatable, and that people can plug and play into, and they know the next step. And then their actions. They have to be aligned, but actions and empowerment come together. I'm going to empower my leaders. I'm going to pour so much belief into them that they start believing in themselves long before they thought they ever would. And I'm going to empower them. I'm going to find their strengths. I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to listen to what they're saying and what they're not saying. I'm going to watch what they're doing and what they're not doing, so I can figure out where they belong. What is the best part about their leadership? I'm not going to put a square into a circle position. I'm not going to put the circle into the triangle. I'm going to find what their mastery level is in this business, and I'm gonna put them in that position to lead. So I want their actions aligned with our culture. I want their actions aligned with our systems, but I'm going to let them be them. Ownership. Let them lead. And I love this quote. You can have control or you can have growth, but you can't have both. And that's hard, especially each one of you. You guys are mega leaders. You are so strong and you know what to do, right? And sometimes it's scary when you put that power, that trust into an up-and-coming leader. But if you can't trust them, it caps how far you can grow. And I have gotten to watch this just blow up in the most beautiful way, putting people in the areas of their strength and empowering and trusting them to do what they do best. And then it actually gives you more leverage to be in the position that you're best at as well. And then I want to go in from how we have gone from social to Prism. I think I have to click again. This video. So Frank and I have a camera crew that follows us around so that we can make really cool reels like this. Nobody's laughing today. I think I have funny jokes, but you guys are starting to get to me. I'm feeling a little insecure. We don't actually have a camera crew. That would be really cool. But we are showing up on social media to go offline. So we've been social for 9.5 years. I'm not going to throw it away. But what I have found is I can make so many connections online. Frank can make so many connections online. And we like to do some of our things together because he has a lot of females from college, from work, from high school. So it's social media. We have people from decades ago who they might not approach Frank about the business. They might not see Frank and go, oh, I'm going to do what he does. But they see his wife and they say, okay, I have a place in this business. And it's the reverse for me. Men are not knocking at my door to work with me, but they see my husband and they say, okay, I see what your husband's doing and I'm interested. And so that's how we're leading our team as a couple who came into this business. And this is when Frank's story started, really about a year ago, a year and a half ago with Nu Skin, when he sees this vehicle and this opportunity, he goes, this is my place to come back in. And we're doing it together. And so whenever this is how our outline of what we've been doing. We're going online to meet people offline. So our social media, it's all in our stories. We're showing up every single day in our stories. We're taking the supplements. I'm making, if you follow me, you probably see me make my gut drink every single morning with my M-Smart, my colostrum. And if you follow anyone on our team, then they're doing the exact same. We're scanning online weekly with our kids. I told you guys, we really gamified this system thanks to Charlie Patterson for the tip. And it's changed everything for our kids. And so people are going on the journey with us. We're scanning ourselves, so maybe that they find that's what they relate to. Or maybe they see our kids who, Brody will not eat vegetables. He only wants protein. I think he got it from his dad. And then we have Goldie who loves broccoli. And we're explaining to our kids, okay, Brody, you won this week. You get the $1, but you guys are taking the same supplements. You both play basketball, you both are outside. So the only factor that you can change right now is you gotta sleep more, which they're not listening to. Or you can add vegetables to your diet. And hey, Brody, Goldie loves broccoli, and broccoli is gonna raise her score. You don't eat any broccoli. And you know what he's saying? And we have it on camera, it was in the stories. He said, Mom, I want broccoli because I'm not letting Goldie beat my score. And so we're putting this online and parents are blowing up, both Frank and I. They're like, are you kidding me? Your kids want to take vitamins. They take their G3 shots every single morning. They're like, how are you getting them? Is this really working? I need to scan my kids. And so that's when you take them offline. So we're involving the whole family, and it's exactly what you guys were saying up on stage today. You're not getting a one-person subscription. You're getting a household subscription. That's building legacy right there. So we get in the DMs and we're talking to people and we're like, hey, we want to meet up in person. 90% of the people don't live in Tulsa. So, hey, we want to get on a Zoom with you and we want to go through an assessment. And that's what every road is leading us to right now. So everything that we're doing in the business is leading to the road of going through an assessment with them, either online or in person. And then we're scanning them when possible. And then we're getting them locked into a subscription, and then we open up the door to supplement their income because we have the prison in front of us. We're talking about the opportunity. You're already subscribing to this and taking this supplement. Are you open to another stream of income? And it has been wildly successful. And like I said earlier this morning, it has been fresh air, new wind. And I was talking earlier to someone about, for anyone who's been on social media and you're like, I don't know how to convert in person. I will tell you right now, your customers are ready for that in-person connection. And someone else said it earlier, the in-person connection, that is the superpower. That is the superpower trust builder. You can build trust so much quicker when you're in person and you get to talk to them and look them eye to eye and you get to go through this assessment and you're saying, what is your number one health priority? What are you most worried about? And then you get to give them a reliable supplement that's going to fix what they're worried about. And that is just incredible. And they see this prism and they see the opportunity. They see the system that you brought them through and they say, I can do that. And that's duplication at its finest. And the leadership with Prism and creating leaders from Prism excites me like no other. Because we have the simple system and it starts from when they're a customer. So they see the entire process to the end when we bring up the business, right? And so it is just saying, this is something that I could do. And we have clear language. There's no guessing. You don't have to be the expert scientist. God knows that's not me. I told you guys, math, science, I'm just Abby. When I talk about the supplements, I'm like, there's a lot of science behind this, but I'm going to tell you the Abby science, and that's really just how I feel. And no one can take away your own story. They can't tell you how you feel. Someone could correct, and they have corrected my language when I try and pronounce some of the words, and that's embarrassing. So I stick to Abby science. And we have a simple system that people get to follow with clear language. It's repeatable actions. You show up online or you open up your phone. I've been doing this, and this is crazy. All of you guys are going to look at me and be like, I've done this for 30 years. But I've opened up my phone, and I am texting and calling people that I have not texted or called in years to connect with them. Or I'm going on social media, and through my stories, I am getting connected with people to go meet offline, to get the assessment, to get the subscription, to get them scanned, to get them the subscription, and then to get them to supplement their income.